Thanks for sticking with us here on Palmetto People. Our next guest is Jody Bryson, and he is with the South Carolina Technology and Aviation Center here in the Upstate. And Jody, thank you very much for being a part of our program.
Thank you for having me.
Now, South Carolina Technology and Aviation Center, that's a new name, about a year old now. And what was the reason for changing that from the Donaldson Center?
Sure. It is a new name. We rebranded the park about a year and a half ago. The Donaldson Center, as it was known, is a former military base, home to about 80 companies, been operating as a business park for 45 years, very effectively. The reason we changed the name and the mission of the organization was to try to be more competitive in today's global economy. And we also felt that the new name better reflected what we have become today, which is a center for technology and aviation companies to operate and do business.
As you say, you rebranded and the mission changed a little bit. What did that change from and to? I mean, were you just basically a landlord before and now you're getting more involved?
Exactly. We had really been sort of a reactive landlord, responding to the local economy and marketing ourselves in the local upstate business community. The new vision, supported by the new brand, has much more of a global reach and really defines us as a statewide entity. And we're very unique in the state. There's not another organization like ours in the state. So we feel like that it better describes who we are today and reflects the direction that we're headed in this new global economy.
What facilities does being on the former Air Force Base offer you, and then in turn you're able to offer to your tenants?
Well, I think our primary feature is the 8,000-foot long runway that is really the centerpiece of the park. That runway is located on a 1,400-acre FAA certified general aviation airport. And so a lot of the companies who locate at our center have an aviation focus, such as Lockheed Martin, for example.
Who are some of the other tenants that you have, and what percentage of those tenants are in the aviation field?
We have a very diverse mix of business and industry at the center. 3M, I mentioned Lockheed Martin. Michelin has a research and development operation. We have 6 specialty chemical companies, 3 pharmaceutical companies, Tier 2, Tier 3 automotive supplier companies. So it's a very diverse mix. Several of them have recently expanded their operations, so to us that's a good sign that we're a good place to do business. There's about 5 to 7 aviation companies who are currently operating, and we have several other ones who are looking at the center currently and thinking about choosing us as the next location for their expansion.
It's all about economic development, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is.
What does the center offer and you know, to bring these companies here? And if the center wasn't here, would those places or those companies have just gone to other states?
Yes. First of all, we have available product. We have what we call beachfront property. That is, we have parcels that are located directly on the active runway. We've got about 400 acres available there. We also have a full-time professional management staff who will work with the company through every phase of their expansion or relocation. We also have a full-service fire department that is solely dedicated to serving the needs of industry, no residential responsibility. And of course the airport.
How much activity do you have on the runway because of the companies that are located there? I mean, is it an active, you know, a lot of movement every day?
Yes. We don't have the largest amount of volume in terms of takeoffs and landings, but that's because our niche is really aviation industry, not so much corporate aviation. We have about 45,000 operations, as we call it, a year at the center. So it's busy enough to serve the needs of our companies, yet we do have capacity and room for growth as well.
Do any of those companies bring in full-size aircraft to work on, to study, to you know, prototypes possibly?
You'll see just about any type of aircraft on any given day. For example, Lockheed Martin works on C-130s, which are large cargo aircraft. They also have a great program underway with U.S. Customs and Border Protection for upfitting P-3 aircraft, which are used to patrol our nation's borders and run down drug smugglers and keep our nation safer. So, and then you have any number of smaller corporate aircraft that would come in and out on a daily basis. So you never know what you might see in the skies over SCTAC. Our runway is long enough to land the space shuttle if need be, so we can accommodate quite a few different aircraft.
There is a lot of activity in the upstate with automotive research. Are you trying to generate the same kind of level of activity in aviation?
Yes, and if you take a hard look at the industry, you'll see that there is an emerging aviation cluster in the upstate. The most recent evidence of that was the expansion of GE Aviation to the Matrix, which is directly across the street from our park. So combine that with SCTAC Carbon Fibers, who's located at the center, who makes carbon fiber for the aerospace industry. You've got Honeywell located here. Michelin manufactures aircraft tires. Of course, we mentioned Lockheed Martin. And we expect that there'll be some companies who will locate at our center to serve Boeing three hours down the road. So yes, I think we're on the verge of, with the Boeing announcement, of really seeing tremendous growth in the aviation industry in South Carolina.
How near capacity is the park?
Well, as I mentioned, we have about 400 acres of aviation property available, 200 acres of industrial property still available. So we've got room for new tenants, no doubt. And combine that with the available capacity on the runway, and we really think we're poised for future growth.
Mm-hmm. And do you have active plans for the future, new taxiways or anything like that coming?
Yes, we just recently secured funding with the help of Congressman Inglis for the final extension of our taxiway B, which will go to the end of the active runway. And that construction will get underway later this year.
Have the marketing efforts ramped up with the rebranding and the slight change in mission?
Absolutely. We work very closely with our allies in economic development at Greenville County and the State Department of Commerce. And we're seeing more and more projects come our way from those two partners. And we think it's a direct result of the rebranding and the proactive approach to economic development marketing that we've undertaken.
And once you get a lot of companies out there, there's a certain synergy that takes over, and you don't have to do much but sit back and answer the phone.
We hope that will be the case, yes.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being with us, Jody Bryson, talking about the South Carolina Technology and Aviation Center. We wish you luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
There's more Palmetto People right after this.